Hey, Steve Zook, welcome back to Pokesue Channel and the Guitar Letter System. This is a pretty rare guitar. This is a Yamaki from '69, and what's really interesting about this guitar, I can hold this guitar and look at the back and see just like the wood, like mahogany. But then if you angle it the right way, you can see some flame. And flame mahogany is super, super rare. It only came from one tree in Belize that fell down a big gully a couple hundred years ago, and it was too expensive, to pull that huge tree up the gully. They finally, many years later, somebody financed the project and pulled it up, and it produced. In fact, I talked to George Green about this. They call it the tree. It produced all the flame mahogany in the world. So there are some people that I think climbed down the hill and maybe carved out some wood and then took it back up the really steep grade, climbing and like climbing a rock or something. It's a really gnarly thing, but this flame mahogany is really, really rare. I've been selling guitars for over 35 years, and I have seen very, very little of it. So like I said, I think there's some people that kind of like hiked down that steep gully and carved some wood out of the tree and hiked back up. They couldn't take much, But like I said, according to other wood brokers, all of the flame mahogany in the world. So this back could be 100 years old, 150 years old, even older, But it adds a real. And this guitar is light, but this is a very, very rare Yamaki acoustic guitar. I'm going to do a very simple demo here. I spent hours dialing this in yesterday. It could probably still use a little bit of setup work depending on how picky you are. But there's ways to do that. You don't have to. I'm not saying all luthiers are oversell because many of them don't. But people always try to push a neck reset. But you can always lower the action more by sanding down the bridge, and then this little piece here comes out, and you sand the bottom of that, and you just bring this all down a little bit here. But I've got it playing pretty damn good right now. I'm in dadgad. Got a really interesting sound. It's got I love the fact that it's light, it's made in Japan. I love the lightness of it, and it's got some tones. It's always so hard for me to describe tone, but it's got that resonant, woody, made in Japan overtone series, but with a really nice orchestral focus. And I've never played a guitar that has. Every guitar, like Chet Atkins says, is a little bit different. Plus, it hasn't probably been played in 30, 35, 40 years, so it's still going to open up. One thing you could do, you could just play this with tens, but like I said, you could spend $500 on a neck reset, but I've been buying and selling guitars over 35 years. I've only done it once. So like I said, I had a friend for a while that used to do it. You ask a luthier to very, very lightly sand the bridge down so he doesn't, real lightly, very lightly, so you don't, loosen any braces. And then, like I said, once you sand the bridge down, you take this piece out here. I'm just explaining this because there's some people out there that don't know a lot about guitars, so I want you to understand this, and this might be a good guitar for somebody that has experience with this stuff. I'm playing it as it is, and I've adjusted the neck several times, and I adjust it like every 24 hours a little bit. But like I said, you just sand the bridge down, and then you can pull this piece out and sand the bottom of it. So setup's a very subjective thing. I have friends that would actually love this setup because they're blues players, and another thing that could be done to this guitar is you could sand the 0 fret down a little bit, and then come down a little bit here at the nut as well. But I'm going to let somebody dial it in because setup is subjective. Some people might like it like this, some might like it a little bit lower. If you get too low in an acoustic, though, you lose tone, so. But it's really got an interesting sound. So this is going to be a simple demo. I probably have too thin of a string on the B string right now, but yeah, this really has a voice. This is the kind of stuff I live to have, and it's very difficult for me to let go of a guitar like this. I'm tempted just to, keep it, but God, if I fall in love with every great guitar I get. But yeah, these are very rare, extremely rare that it has, flame mahogany back, which also adds to the tone, by the way. And it's almost like a miracle of nature, because I can stand up and hold this guitar and look at it and just see mahogany, and then if I shift it a little bit, then the flame starts to show up. It's so cool. But yeah, rare wood adds to the sound, and this is some really old. Like I said, I think the wood is a lot older than just the guitar, because it's just so rare that you see that flame. I'm not sure what the camera's picking up here, but this is really rare wood. But yeah, this is really an interesting guitar, and cosmetically it looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? I mean, that's incredible, Like I said, you might need to do some setup work on it depending on how picky you are, Like I said, I've adjusted the neck and did some other tweaking to it, and so you might want to dial it in, but it really has a sound. This is worth, really hard to find something that has this sound. I'm gonna do a real short demo on this. Probably getting a little rattling of this here. That like I said, there's a few little things you might want to dial in, but I mean it's not rocket science, So anyway, short little demo here. Very rare guitar. Like I said, I think this might be rattling a little bit in there. So there's a few little things you might want to spend a little on setup on this guitar, depending on how much you want to go. But it's really has a sound. Be able just to actually tighten these screws and get rid of that little, this thing's buzzing a little bit, but that's what it is. Yeah, pretty sweet guitar. I was playing it a lot last night and just having a ball playing it, because it just has such a beautiful tone, and it's light. Really a nice guitar. Anyway, Yamaki, made in Japan, is 69. Super rare, sounds unbelievable. Like I said, if you have no experience with guitars or very little, this might not be the guitar for you, because it might confuse you in terms of getting it dialed in, and somebody might oversell you, and then you'll get nervous. I'd really rather somebody with a little more experience buy this guitar. So, all right, folks, take care. Let's keep the faith. Hopefully, you can see some of that flame on the back. Like I said, I look at it at one angle, I don't see it all, and then I start moving the guitar, and I start seeing the really beautiful the guitar is worth the money just for the back. Actually, I probably have people that are guitar brokers or wood brokers that would probably buy this just for the wood. But yeah, it's really, really a rare guitar, and it just sounds unbelievable. It reminds me of kind of maybe an old, 50s Martin D18, but with more orchestral breath. That's the we use like pianistic orchestral breath and voice. Really, really a nice guitar. All right, take care.